This is that one guy. My name is Alex, and today we'll do chapter 5 of my book, called I Am Phoenix. This book is about a personal rebrand, a personal rebirth. Sometimes we have found out that we've reached our limitations when we hit a certain rock bottom, and deeper thoughts come about, right? So I've hit quite a few of them in life. I've tried a few things. I failed quite a bit, and I guess the most fun part is after you shake off the loss, is the actual getting back up and trying again. So, which is why the imagery of a phoenix is you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep trying. Sometimes you just crash and burn, and you gotta rise again. So this is chapter 5. We are establishing how to set up a foundation for a good life after we've discovered a certain rock bottoms, right? Certain lows in life, and we're like, okay, I need something different. Part of my motivation that drives these book talks, my work on LXMNV.com, and just kind of my general direction for life is, what is it? Oh yeah, the general direction is a bit ambitious, right? So I do talk about trying to get ahead and working hard and trying to pursue a good life, which also takes a bit of work, which we've discussed in the previous chapter. Like, in order to establish a legacy, leave a good name, have a good reputation, or you have to produce a certain form of work, right? Even when people die, the greatest that are remembered, they're remembered because they made some great contributions to the population or the people, right? Nobody is ever remembered after a couple of years for, I guess, like smaller achievements, right? Oh, dude had the coolest cars, and he had the biggest houses, or he was the biggest player of ever, right? So maybe some certain individuals, immediate family, will mourn your loss to some degree, but then give it 50 years, give it 100 years, right? We just kind of fade out. However, the people who contribute quite a bit, they do get remembered, and hopefully some of the principles that they were about does carry on, because it's a little bit more foundational, right? And so, as a business owner, as a leader, as a politician, as a city official, mayor, or whatever, or even just a non-deadbeat dad, we want to leave an impression for as long as possible, right? So if we really genuinely care about our people, we would like to do most of the hard thinking for them, right? And then give them an easier formula to solve, I guess. Ultimately, every generation has its problems. We have faced the rise of social media, rise of AI, rise of illegal immigration, possible World War III, which kind of got toned down to just some smaller beef instead of the whole world getting involved, right? And yeah, we're suffering at the moment, and that sucks. Version of a rock bottom. And anyways, so I also am a little bit sexist. As a man, as a Christian man, I think that men are designed with a purpose and a work predestined for them in mind, and then women are the helper, the assistant, the nurturer, right? So the supportive role. And even though I know I kind of spoke about some of this with my ex-wife, I was like, all right, the woman is supposed to be the supportive role, but ultimately she has to submit to her husband, right? If they want to be a team, like, she has to kind of go along with the flow, because naturally, I don't think women most of them have a concept or a burden of a certain contribution that they're supposed to make to the society, right? And so it's the men who get called to battle, who get called to lead, who get called to mission, and this and this and this, right? And then even all the badass movies, all the action movies, it's usually the man running around doing all the work, and then he somehow finds a chick who like kind of is a part of his life and this and that. So hypothetically, um, and then I also think that it's quite significant that God created man, and then he saw that man was lonely, and he out of his rib made a woman to be his companion. There's some kind of dynamic to that, like the man is made in the image of God. I mean, so is the woman, right? We're kind of, man and woman will kind of look alike, but we just have different capacities and different capabilities for life, and to some degree, different burdens and gifts. So, whereas man, after they sinned, right, Adam and Eve ate the apple, lied to God, blamed each other, were like, hey, so we didn't know, we didn't do it. God was like, all right, you guys are full of crap. And then he cursed them, right? He said, the man will live by the sweat of his brows, which means probably hard work, right? You gotta hit the field, go hunting, go put out some hard work in order for you to eat. So naturally, that's a curse, right? That's a handicap against us. And then for a woman, God said that your childbirth is gonna be extremely painful, which I'm pretty sure it is, right? I witnessed my ex-wife give birth to our son, and that didn't look pleasant whatsoever. I would rather work and contribute to society every single day of my life, and then we're allowed a day off or two, right? Because fortunately, even from design, the designer, the creator, took a day off to rest, which more possibly to set a pace for us humans, like, hey, do sit down for a second. And then during that time of sitting down, look around, acknowledge that there was also a bigger and badder dude who made everything, the world, right? So obviously this book is Christian. However, this chapter, I wrote it for my ex-wife, keeping the female perspective in mind. But this is the only chapter where it doesn't talk about God, because ultimately I do think that the present day female is more likely than not to ignore God. But they still need a fresh perspective, right? So this chapter it's not Christian, it's kind of self-help with an underlying of Christian, because the rest of the booklet is rising from the ashes. You find yourself here at rock bottom, staring up at a life that feels distant, alien, unreachable. You were always the one people turned to for answers, for strength. You were the woman with a plan, the one who never seemed to falter, at least not publicly. But now you're here in a place you never imagined yourself to be. Raw, vulnerable, exposed. It's hard to breathe in this place. It's like the air itself is different, heavier. You've tried to climb out, but it feels like the more you try, the more the weight of the world presses down on you. It's exhausting, isn't it? But even now, in a quiet moment, when your mind is no longer racing, when the distractions fall away, there's something stirring inside. There's a question gnawing at the edges of your consciousness. How did I get here? It's not self-pity. No, you're too smart for that. You know that life is more than a collection of random misfortunes. This wasn't chance. It was a series of choices, some deliberate, some unconscious. You've walked into this step by step, and now you're here facing the consequences. Not a very popular topic, I know, But there's a lot of things that we do is because we've ignored plenty of warnings. It's because we've ignored all the all the red flags. And I know red flags, we consider that to be opposite sex and dating and all of that. But there's screaming red flags about a lot of things in life, right? The alcohol, it's actually poison. The sugar, it's actually poison. The weed, the cigarettes, the all the party pills, all of these are actually not very good for us. And yet we're like, at the moment, we're gonna ignore good advice and just participate in whatever the fuck this is because it looks fun. You're facing the consequences. But that's not the whole story, is it? There is still time. You know that. That quiet resolve is what sets you apart from others who crumble under the weight. You may be at the bottom, but you're still standing. Your mind is still sharp, your will unbroken. You can rise from this just as you've risen from other challenges before. Only this time, it's not about proving yourself to the world. It's not about playing the role they expected of you. This time, it's about you. Imagine the woman you will become after this. The person you are on the other side of this trial is much stronger, wiser, and more attuned to what truly matters. What is it that she knows? What is it that she's learned in these moments of darkness? That's who you're shaping now. You may feel broken, but like finely tempered sword, you are being reshaped, reforged in the fires of adversity. Every scar, every bruise, every tear will become a part of your story, a part of your strength. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You see, the rock bottom isn't the end, it's the foundation. It's where you strip away all that is false, all that's unnecessary. It's where you meet yourself without the masks, without the pretenses. It's where you come face to face with your limitations, your fears, your weaknesses, and yes, your power. You are more than the sum of your failures. You are the architect of your next chapter. You are more than the sum of your failures. You are the architect of your next chapter. You know, one of the scariest thing is to watch a woman go through problems and just call it trauma and just chalk it up to life and become traumatized and just have it become another stress line on her face, right? Age, stress, gray hair, whatever. But it's just the way you handle problems could destroy you, or it could brush off your shoulder like nothing, right? And and I'd kind of almost advise to brush off a lot of stuff because you don't want to get too old. And I think the more I simplify my life, and I look kind of youngish, right? The slide is kind of flattering, but I think one of my biggest changes to my routine is I stopped stressing so much. I Whatever was making me sleepless, whatever was making me just feel restless or consume too much energy in my mind, it has to be addressed and leave because I got other things. I got less important things to do. But then I also got some ambitious things to do. And then I also want to squeeze in some life. So in here, there's just not too much room for bullshit. And yeah, some things you just have to let slide off your back or your shoulder or just a no big deal type of thing. But first, let's be honest, there's no shortcuts here. There's no easy way out. The road back up will be steep and painful and grueling. That sounds terrible. But it's better than whatever the fuck rock bottom we're stuck at currently, right? But you have it in you. You always have. It will require a level of perseverance that few people possess. You have it in you. You always have. There's a quiet, steady power in you that's been there all along, waiting for this moment. Don't underestimate it. You've always been the woman who could carry more than others thought possible, and now you carry yourself. Boom, boom, boom. And then last couple sections. Look at the wreckage. I like this section. Look at the wreckage of what once was. Don't be afraid of it now. It holds no power over you. The life you once lived, the one that crumbled, is gone. It's in the past, and the woman who emerges from this, the one who will stand tall after the dust settles, is a new creation, a testament to the fact that you can endure, rebuild, and conquer. There's work to do, yes, but that work will be your salvation. It is the work that will bring you back to yourself, that will lead you to the abundant life waiting on the other side. Each day you spend rebuilding will bring you closer to the woman you were always meant to be. And that woman, she's unstoppable. Go get your shit. Right? It doesn't sound that bad. It's our perspective. It's the way we see things. You know, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a singer so bad. I played guitar, and then I played acoustic guitar, and I tried to sing. And my family was like, your voice is trash. Don't ever sing, right? Don't ever sing around us. The music you write is kind of trash. Don't ever sing around us. And so I never really pursued it. Even as an adult, I still don't sing. I love singing. In the car, I belt it out. I try to learn different methods and practice this and that. If you vape, if you smoke, it's not very good for your lungs. So I already handicapped that, and I'm tone deaf as fuck. But I like singing, and I do. But it bothers me that I grew up around people who would easily just put me down, right? Be like, you can't do this, blah blah blah, because I can't do this, or there's somebody next to you who's doing it better. And I don't know, I felt like I could never get on stage and play guitar because I wasn't quite talented enough, which I was. I could never quite get on stage and sing because I didn't quite hit the notes. Well, a lot of people don't. At some point, like, you can just get on there and entertain, you know. And it didn't occur to me that you didn't have to be an expert in every single thing you try before you try, right? And so this is kind of how I started writing books, but then started trying to explore ideas on how to live a good life, get connected to people around me and the community around me, and leave a lasting contribution, which in a way has to be selfless, right? I can't just be running around being all selfish and shit, like, hey, what can I hit you for? What can I get over on you with? And what can you do for me? What can you do for me, right? Because we think present day marketing is just that. Oh, I'm out here making networking is what they call it, right? And it's just a whole bunch of people running around flexing like they have some shit or they've done some shit, and then in return they're looking for, what can I get out of this person, right? Whether it be an opportunity, money, connection, sex, food, favors. Just, there's quite a few things that we try to get out of people, right? And then it seems like the kinder they are, the worse we treat them, which is kind of weird. I never understood that. And which kind of, let me just cut this video off. Thanks for watching. That was chapter 5. I am Phoenix.